Alright, it is a Wednesday, the first day of September, and this is the main watch list. Nothing too crazy. RGBP could be some kind of reversal. I mean, I can't trade this again because Schwab doesn't let me trade it, but I don't mind just looking at it. This could be a setup where it could potentially, maybe if it doesn't have like a stupid gap up, it can have a morning spike, a quick morning spike. It could do whatever it wants. It could honestly consolidate too. If it's not a morning spike or a clean morning panic, I wouldn't consider it if I was able to trade it, just because of the fact that it's mid-range. It's basically, yeah, in the middle between this, you know, this level at 81 and then at 36, or if you want to count the 20s, it just feels like it's right in the middle. It's not something I would be that interested in unless it looks super clean. PBY could be a morning panic bounce play today if it does one. BRBL is just gonna be a watch. It didn't really do that nicely. It did qualify yesterday for a morning panic bounce play, and it did drop yesterday, but it just didn't look that nice. The volume wasn't really there, so that was a bit unfortunate. CLNV is just gonna be a watch. Maybe this thing can do another morning spike, although I mean, it looks like it's had big volume days before, so maybe there's gonna be a lot of resistance that would not really help it do something like that, but it will continue to be a watch regardless. That's some sketchy looking price action back there. I mean, you didn't trade at all, but that's pretty weird looking. ABVC is a listed stock. I would be interested in this if it does like an inverse hand and shoulders, but that's really the only thing I'm really comfortable with when it comes to listed stocks, because a lot of these listed stocks can just have this. Well, this one didn't really do it, but they could have like this big red candle that just wipes everybody else. So that's what I have right now. Ideally, PBYA does a morning panic bounce play today. If it doesn't, that's totally fine. Okay, it is 9:41. I haven't traded anything. CLNV, I was watching this for a morning panic bounce play, but it had like a very low volume spike, and it was the kind of, I was looking at it here a lot. It had that kind of price action where the bid and the ask starts lifting itself higher and nobody's really taking it, and then it eventually gets bid right and it has this gap. That's pretty impressive. I want to take it very cautiously with something like this because, you know, it does move with a lot of range, and the volume isn't really here for a lot of these morning panic bounce plays. PBYA, if I were to take a buy thinking it's a double bottom, which I don't really want to, you know, I would have VWAP right here at 14, and that's not really that nice. That's not really good range. This is what I've been seeing. BRBL, you see this turnaround here? This thing is barely trading with volume. 857,000 shares, which is absolutely nothing. Let's just see. And then VWAP is at 272. Right, we're looking at $23,000 a dollar volume traded. That's nothing. RGBP, I can't trade this one. It looks like it did try a morning spike, although it was a bit iffy at first. It was red for a brief moment. It went from 57 once it held green from 52. That wouldn't have been too bad, but that would have been super damn sketchy. Look at these wicks right here. That would have thrown me off. This one I could have traded in theory. It was like an imperfect looking inverse head and shoulders, shoulder, head, and then we have the shoulder here. I could have been in at like 412. It did get as high as 436, but it looks like it's really struggling with this VWAP resistance level. So that's all I got really for the moment. I might consider some of these for a double bottom like this one. No, not really. I do like the volume coming up here, but it's just nothing I really want to trade. So yeah, to summarize it, I don't think the volume is just really there. I was looking at this one, could have worked. I could have traded this one in theory, but I was looking at the others because this one just doesn't have the best long-term chart. It had a gap down and it dropped. It broke, as it even broke the 60 level, which looks like massively, you know, strong back here. If you look right about there, that 60 level, right? It even broke it briefly, and then it held itself together. This could have been something where I could have been in at maybe 63, and it's at 72. I could have definitely have traded this, but I don't regret missing it because I was looking at these other ones, which in theory should have been better, but Yeah, so that's where I'm at. The volume is just not really here for these, and I will be looking at the listed stock more. Alright, it is 10:04 a.m. and I'm gonna make an update right here, and after this I think I won't be looking at the stock market. I think today is just really dry with OTCs and the listed stocks that are moving. I'm not too interested in it. I don't understand why so many people are interested in this like this degenerate random day trader, just garbage listed stocks like BBIG, but I see the breakout here at 10, right? Something as sketchy as that, I might have considered going in early for something like that. But anyway, it broke 10 here, and then it had a halt, and it actually downtrended after that breakout, and now it's trying to trade all weird. And this is a minute, candle chart, so this thing is trading extra sketchy. I did get in a trade with ABVC, and I basically got wrecked, but that's NASDAQ trading in a nutshell. So I went in at 9:59. I got out the same minute, 9:59, and the reason why I got in is this wick right here. It just looked like it was starting to get really volatile. The kind of move, at least from my limited experience with listed stocks, the kind of volatility move that can result in a halt and a nice uptrend, a nice breakout. And as you can tell, the wick got as high as 474, well above this level. The long-term chart doesn't look too horrible for something like this to happen. It doesn't have any like big volume days that are larger than today that would stop it from potentially doing a move like that. So I did take a buy at 457, right about here, when it looks like it was just about to break this level right here. And as you can tell, this was the big volume candle, so somebody just dumped a whole bunch of shares on the bid, and it had this downtrend, and I went ahead and I sold at like 431. I thought I was gonna get like 437. I guess I should have had a limit order. Yeah, I totally thought I was gonna get like 437, which would have been fine. And yeah, I totally got wrecked. I did trade a tiny size, a $200 position, because like listed stocks do sketchy stuff like that. It does really suck that I got in at 457 and immediately somebody threw a bunch of shares at the bid and just dumped it like the way it did. But that's totally fine. I'm gonna just leave it alone. MTRT is a OTC that's uptrending. The volume is not that bad. It could continue a move, but I don't really like it that much. It could really keep going. I might keep this on watch in the background, but I'm probably not that interested in it. TGGI is trying again to hold this level above 59, that breakout right there. I would have been interested in it if this thing were to have dropped a little closer to that level, but I guess that's fine, because it almost held the level where it opened at. Well, it opened here, but it really got close to this 62 level. It got a little lower than it. So this thing could eventually just do one of those slow uptrends, but it is a sketchy penny stock. It does have overhead resistance from this price action back here, which could get in the way with it. RGBP, I haven't really looked at it. I wouldn't have really traded any of this. I mean, it did go for that morning spike, but that was pretty hard again. And CLMV, yeah, this one did hold itself for a double bottom, right? In one candle it got to 61, and then it started trading around this 58, 57 level. So I just feel like today is not really a good day. And kind of bad luck too, because I kind of got wrecked here with the ABVC thing right here, which is fine. My percent loss sucks, but I was avoiding something that would have been much worse, where I'm in at 57 right before it does a huge panic, right? It has that little spike. I probably won't trade into something like this in the future, even if it works, because maybe it's just a short squeeze. I honestly don't know. But yeah, I was in at 457. Immediately somebody just shot it down with a whole bunch of shares dumped on the bid, just the largest volume candle. And I think that really killed the momentum, because it just showed people that like there's a lot of people who want to short the stock or sell it, Now this thing is doing a nice downtrend. That's pretty nice. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it alone and not do anything with it at the moment. You know, I think I'll just stop looking at the markets for right now. This really did stink, but you know, that's the thing with listed stocks. You're not able to cut losses quickly if it does like a sharp move like that. So maybe I should have just avoided it. I should have just avoided it perhaps, but I think it was a good attempt, and still more experience trading these listed stocks. So that's really all I got. I honestly just don't like the way the markets are right now, but I will keep looking at MTRT, and I think that's all I have for right now. Alright, it is 1:36 p.m. I haven't really been looking at the markets, but it looks like MTRT is trying to do a follow-up run-up. Maybe this is going to be a confirmed breakout. The problem is that it went from 195 to 215 and then it drops back to this 195 level. I would have liked it if it spiked more, and that's not the case here. I'm probably just going to watch this and not trade it. And TGGI is downtrending. This one failed that breakout. RGBP, I could have traded the inverse head and shoulders, but it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't even that much range. It went from 494 to 515. Here was the second higher low in theory, and it did continue to run to 56, but that's like, you know, best case scenario. I can't trade it again, but that one is pretty nice nonetheless. CLNV, nothing here. TGGI, again, nothing. I guess the only thing good about today is that I don't know how I can do it, but with stocks I can't. But like with freaking Dogecoin, I have $1,000 position, not the best entry at 2844, give or take, because it's doing this freaking ascending triangle, and we just broke out of it. In theory, this thing could keep putting up higher lows, and that would be pretty impressive if you ask me. But I don't know, that's where it is right now. It could also just obviously fail, but yeah, I see nothing. And for this painful one, was that it? Did I type it wrong? Yes, I typed it wrong. Yeah, ABVC 290 was a previous close. It's still up. It's at 330. Here was my freaking buy at 457. That's why you cut losses quickly. Had I have said, oh, I'm gonna bag hold it, I think I'll break out later, that would have been a pretty bad day. But I'm not that stupid. And yeah, I did get wrecked here, but you know, that's like a, it's not, I mean, maybe it is common, but I don't think it was something that could happen really that often, so I can't get upset with that trade right there. I guess TGGI could try to hold this level because it's right near the day low, and we do have support from back here, but that's just kind of random trading. I don't know. Yeah, that's all I got for right now. I'll probably make an update when the markets close. I probably won't trade anything. Alright, it is 6:46 p.m. and I'm just here to call it off. I think MTRT continued to do a nice move. I was not here for any of this. It looked like a low volume spike. Maybe I should have an alert or something on my phone or on the computer, but I don't know if I would have even traded this because it was just so scary. But hey, congrats, this thing went to $5. Pretty nice move. It did do a little bit of a panic. Who knows? This type of stock, when it's up 500%, it is super sketchy, but especially this one being a higher priced stock now, being a, well, it closed at $3, but you know, something like this can be a morning panic bounce play tomorrow. It really can. A little sketchy, but it can totally do it, and it could be a nice runner. One of these days I'll be able to nail one of these for sure. CLNV, this one faded. Unfortunately, not really much of a good bounce. It did do something here, but it wasn't really that nice. CCAG, this one is up too. Not as nice as the other one, but still up. This one closed, I think, a little stronger, so this could be a potential for tomorrow. Any of these could be a morning panic bounce play, and not an exact science because it was only up one day, but if it's up that much, it could totally be something to play off of. A lot of these I do so nicely. I'll try to remember this. I kind of break the day high later in the day and make a nice move. A lot of these never touch VWAP. Now this one kind of did right here, but they normally just float right above it. This one I think touched it. This one touched it later in the day, but for the ones that actually break out in the afternoon, I'm going to keep that in mind. Ideally one that doesn't touch VWAP. TGGI looks upsetting. Just very sad looking. That's too bad. RGBP can't trade it. Could have done the inverse head and shoulders here, the second higher low. I even thought about this level right here, but I can't trade this one. I am considering maybe, you know, to just not wait. I don't know. It's not that long. It'll be 3 weeks from now. I could be able to short again with my other account I made in Schwab that can allow short selling stocks. I could totally do that. And just to go over, yeah, today was a red day, but you know, this was like a fluke thing. This isn't something normal like a morning panic bounce way that failed or some stupid trade. This is literally a NASDAQ play, a listed stock that just really didn't work out, which is totally fine. I got wrecked by the little wick here, but had I have bag held this thing would have been very upsetting. So I have to keep in good light that, you know, it wasn't some setup where I hesitated. I didn't want to cut losses, or, you know, I picked a really stupid setup. This thing could have worked out because I've seen these go exponentially crazy. It breaks the day high and all of that stuff, and afterwards, you know, it starts halting up, which is super cool. So that's something that's way off in the horizon, I think, for me in terms of trading listed stocks. I should just stick with OTCs in the meantime. Both of these stocks, MTRT, CCAG, could be potential morning panic bounce play setups. That's all I got. Just one red day here, but you know, I could have traded way worse. So I'm pretty thankful to God for that, and I just had to keep going.